I can't believe I'm making this video. This is gonna be rough. So, yeah, this is gonna be rough to talk about, so might as well get things on it, so. Hello guys, and welcome to another video. This is like, really late night video. Like seriously, it's about 3:36 a.m. that I'm recording this. I really was it was just bothering me just to not be because I was getting around to this and I'm just been bothering me to get this out. So I just want to get this video out of the way because I did promise I was going to make an explanation. And so if you guys have already noticed, and I posted this on Discord and on the community tab, that I have officially stepped down and resigned from the BSModHQ modding team, and I am withdrawing from all modding projects from working with them or anything. This actually includes BSModHQ version 1.0, but I'll get around to it. I just want to make an explanation to myself of why I'm sort of resigning the position of working as a scripter slash tester for the BSModHQ team. I have like 3 major reasons of why I decided to leave, but I'll just get down to the basics and the gist of it. I have some I'm like looking over to my other monitor here because I actually have like a rundown of what I want to say, and this might be a very long video to discuss about. So if you guys have the time, feel free to watch this when you're feel free to listen to this while I'm basically talking out my reasons and reasoning behind this. And if you guys notice, this is like my stream over one of my overlays for Twitch, so this might be a little bit odd for you if you haven't been on Twitch. So let's talk about one of the first reasonings. Recently, me and Axis Crusher have recently had a recent argument and dispute, which was kind of left unforgivable in a way because let me just explain the whole development behind BSModHQ version 1.0. In the beginning, I thought of one night, because since my idea is that, it's hard to explain this story. The whole reasoning behind BSModHQ version 1.0 for BSM is that, especially the modding team itself, we were thinking about the idea of giving the biggest mod Battlestations Midway some love. As for example, Battlestations Midway's multiplayer is a lot more active compared to Battlestations Pacific multiplayer, and there's a real reason why. It's actually a lot more easier and much more stable to do multiplayer maps for Battlestations Midway than Battlestations Pacific. So I sort of spearheaded the idea of, let's say, if we can make, at first the first idea was just making a build where Battlestations Midway can be moddable, just like the BSModHQ updates builds in Battlestations Pacific, so people can start learning how to mod for Battlestations Midway. So that's what I spent like almost a week maybe just trying to get the files ready to I unpacked every MPAC file, trying to get all the contents out of it and try to organize them all to like what it looks like to compare to BSModHQ as builds and eventually this works. So this sort of led on the idea of basically this entire mod has just begun to get more ambitious as the development progressed. First, it's just the idea of just that one build itself and just release it to the public. Then we realized we should probably add something to it. So the team and I decided to just make ideas for creating the mod by adding new multiplayer maps and single player comp maps, and this which led to all those other videos I showed you, like all those cool multiplayer maps and new ship and plane submarine challenges that we have. That was made, at least. It just got a little bit ambitious and so much of a big project. It got a little bit, like, at first we were expecting, well, at least I was planning, because apparently this is, according to BSModHQ, it's my personal mod, or since basically the idea was to have this mod out by January 2020. Once we got to a point where we got all the maps to single player, yeah, like all the multiplayer maps to single player with basic AI. I just basically added some AI to where the AI would just actually attack people. It's not anything too crazy as compared to the ship or plane or submarine challenges, but it was something there to actually have ready to go for the team, so people can actually play these maps on single player. But mainly, the main purpose of these new maps was just to play them during multiplayer. It was just an idea, as when International Battlestations Community Mod Collection came out, or whatever that title was, they did had the idea of having single player maps, but they never actually had actual AI, and nothing was really done. Like that mod was left unfinished. And this was sort of like a mixed review of the entire mod, as this was technically an unofficial release for that mod. So at this time when we were getting to that point, that's when I had to leave for my Disney internship back in Orlando, Florida. So I talked to Access Crusher during beforehand, and he said he was able to, and he was able to have the team continue on the work for the mod, see, just to iron out some bugs and stuff like that, and add some new ideas too. And if he wants to add anything else, he can. I gave him that permission to add anything that he wants to change, and so he did. So I was off my internship during this time. He started spearheading the idea of adding new AI to the single player missions, something to be on my because that's another thing that I had to point out. Access Crusher and I, like, we have different scripting techniques or scripting adjustments, or just scripting in general, how we run. His is more professional and but yet complex and organized, but it's all short and sweet, but yet it's complex. And then there's mine, who's like really inefficient. It's semi-organized, but it gets the job done in a way. Like, the way I'm just gonna say it out here. I am not professional when it comes to coding and scripting. I learned this all by myself with the help of Access Crusher. He was sort of my mentor behind scripting in general, which led to me creating, as you guys remember, known from for my own work, is the Pacific Remaster Campaign Pack, which was also spearheaded. It was also produced also with the BSModHQ team. This is basically decided, like, with him taking control over the mod, it sort of led to where there was a lot. I was more confused than ever, because the way I'm just gonna admit it now. Access Crusher is a far better coder than I am when it comes to scripting, and when I was understanding to learn and adapt to these new codings once I came back, because already by the time I came back, he added a new AI, brand new AI, and actual working shipyards in Battlestation Midway, which is amazing. And he gets that all ready to work, and he did a phenomenal job by that. And when I looked at the coding to see what he did, I'm like, what? Literally, I was so confused behind it. Like, I was hoping to get like some sort of, I was asking to see if I can get some more help, and I did by myself did try to or learn and play the game to see how they are. And it's nice how it's actual working AI, but so the AI is actually more unpredictable. But I just don't understand how to do it to my own work. So we at first we decided one day that me and Access Crusher decided to, hey, he will start working on adding at least because we didn't want to go too far, because what left is adding AI, the complex AI as Access Crusher did, including the shipyards, and that was left to do. But we were like debating on what it was with with Midway Waters. We wanted to do that, since technically that is not our work, and we technically should not have been touching them at all. But I just randomly just said, hey, like, I suggested just to do the shipyards only, because technically it's not our work. At first, it was the deal. We were just gonna finish up what we had on the classic maps. Well, Axis Crusher was going to be finishing up on what's left of the classic maps, and then I was going to work on Breakthrough on making some basic AI. Oops, if you guys know Breakthrough, it's one of the maps that Axis actually made for the BSModHQ, BSModHQ version 1.0, and I was going to work on that while he was going to finish up on the classic maps, and he said he might show me and understand how to work with the new shipyards and AI. That sort of never kind of happened, in a way. I never got a chance. At first I was having issues with Breakthrough, since first off wasn't the original designer of that map specifically, and I was trying to convert that to single player as he requested, and it was just not working. Like, it was just a lot of issues. Like, it wouldn't even launch in single player, so I was asking for help because, like I said, I wasn't the original designer behind it, and then kind of didn't receive any kind of help in a way. And then this sort of led on to this, and then Axis Crusher started to become, he wanted to continue on working on Battlestations Pacific, leaving me to continue on Battlestation Midway BSModHQ version 1.0. From my point of view, from my perspective, I was like totally lost. Even though I first off started the mod itself, but the way it was left off by another complete different scripter with a much more better experience than I am, it's hard for me to adapt and try to actually fix that. And I'm like, well, at first I didn't really expected him to actually create new AI, and that's when I started bringing it up to him, saying like, oh, create new, we should not have originally I thought I was going to have it at January, because we thought like we were just going to fix some basic bugs and we were going to out by then. And that's what I was hoping for by the time I was doing my internship. But like I said, I did leave out the part where he can add anything he wanted to add it to there, so he added the new AI that I don't know how to actually understand. And he just told me to just figure it out, and I was going to left off, so I was like, whoa, wait, that's a little bit too far, but it's hard to explain. But in the rundown is that, like, hey, you do realize with the new edition with the AI, it's just delayed the original release of this mod was delayed of this month because of the addition of the new AI and mod. He misunderstood what I was saying, and it got a little bit heated in the end, and let's just say it ended up to where I was really personally offended by what he said, and I was like, you know what, with the other reasons that I'm about to explain now, I was like, you know what, I might as well just call it quits. And I just left the group, left all the Skype groups that we were in. I blocked Axis Crusher from Skype, and I was like, I'm done. I was just done working for scripting for the team. So, like I said, I am not a perfectionist when it comes to coding. I am not in anything, like, I am not as great as Axis Crusher when it comes to scripting in general. He's much more professional than what I am. I'm just like a script kiddie, I guess you can say, and he's more like a hacker man, if you guys know it. Not like a hacker man, like actually hack, but he knows a lot of coding than I do. And he's been working on on this game for a lot more longer than I have. So I was like, I can't really work up to him, because I was expected to leave something to where I don't understand where I was left off at. And I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna. If you want to be like that, I'm fine. I'm just gonna take my leave. So let's bring it on to the next reasoning behind it. Wow, that took 13 minutes. This is gonna be a long video probably. So probably just gonna add like actual sections here. The second reasoning behind my resigning of the BSModHQ team and just in modding in general for Battlestations Pacific and Midway is that it's the rise of Team Wolfpack. Yes, it's kind of a weird topic to bring up, like what's the big problem behind the Team Wolfpack? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Team Wolfpack. They have done an amazing and phenomenal job. With the release of their complete campaign pack back in December of 2019, it was a smash hit for the community, and it's really kind of a no-brainer. It brought new missions, new models, and new content, and it sort of kind of blew out of the water for certain missions that we've had. Like, it for me, it personally blew out Pacific Remastered Campaign Pack, despite it having more missions than Pacific Remastered Campaign Pack was, and it was almost on par. Like, it was literally right on par with Long On's mission pack and the Empire Strikes mission pack, and it was a huge success for the Team Wolf pack. What the result of this launch of the complete campaign pack, it sort of lowered morale with the BSModHQ team, since Team Wolfpack became a huge popularity, as we're now going to be expecting more out of the community. I mean, we're expecting more for the community, as what you say, Team Wolfpack has made a huge marking point to where we got to step. If we want to even, if this was even a competition, that's the thing. So that, like, if we wanted to continue, if we wanted to have support for continuing the mod work, we gotta step up the game. But for me, I personally never liked the idea of being competitive, and this sort of led to like certain just low morale in general, and it's just kind of upsetting, as as we've been getting reports, especially former team members such as NetSet Planes have been merging with Team Wolfpack to work for them rather than the BSModHQ team, which is leaving us less and less active members to continue working for more projects. And this sort of became a huge decline in production of anything. So that's why the only thing was basically being produced right now was BSModHQ version 1.0, because there weren't a lot of promised content that we were able to make progress for. Considering that Team Wolfpack promised more content in the near future, which leaves the community, it just leaves the community in good hands. And I really believe in Wolfpack and reviving the game, because they did amazing content and work they created so far just by one mod. It's just superb compared to any other mods previously. Well, I think the only the last milestone game mod that came out was 4.0. That made a huge success, in which that resulted in the rise of PR with more mods such as Pacific Remastered Campaign Pack and the rise of Team Wolfpack. And you gotta hand it to RuneSvault and Team Wolfpack's work on how they were able to do it. So great job, you guys. So it's based in general, in my personal opinion, BSModHQ was starting to become slowly obsolete as we were being shadowed out by Team Wolfpack. And that's my whole opinion on that. And people are expecting a lot more support from Team Wolfpack rather than us. So we're losing support as the days go by. So it was only a matter of time. So that's my second reasoning behind my resignation. And my final reasoning behind my resignation of modding and just redoing this, just doing modding in general, was that let's go back in January 2018, when I first produced that random prototype concept of Invasion of Midway, where I just learned simple stuff by adding just new units and just making them basically do some certain attack moves on just using the SCN. I never used the Lua script at all. That's the thing, except making formations, and that was it. And back that made me want to continue developing and learn to mod, and that's what Axis Crusher took under my wing back then, when he was able to help me in continuing this idea, which led to a development of the Pacific Remastered Campaign Pack. With the help of the BSModHQ team, the Pacific Remastered Campaign Pack was made, basically, despite the bugs that has been reported since the release. In that time, I really enjoyed scripting, but as the years go by, after the release of the Pacific Remaster campaign pack, Long Long's mission pack, the Empire Strikes mission pack, and the development of the former BSModHQ version 1.0 for BSM, I started to lose. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I started to lose interest in continuing work for modding in general. I just felt like people are, especially from my YouTube channel. That's what we're gonna bring up. I want to make a YouTube channel to where people enjoy content because of myself as a person, rather than just work for for something. I felt like support that I've been getting from this one small game, was just because of the work I've done, rather than what I am like as myself as a person. I literally felt like, in a way, that I wouldn't say used. That's just a little bit too far. I wouldn't say that. I just felt, I just didn't felt fulfilled than what I was going to be at working, just doing Battlestations Midway and Pacific content videos, because that's another thing. I led a huge, like, my first goals when I first opened this YouTube channel is just to actually, like, just have fun and be myself, and people enjoy watching content from me because of of myself as a person and how silly I can be. I can literally be a freaking silly 19-year-old grown man on camera, and people would love that. And it felt like, with working on Battlestations Midway and Pacific, it felt like it was being drowned out. It was like all that goals was not being fulfilled because of that. And I felt like I sort of had a big, like, what I had later on, I sort of had a wake up call. As the years go by, I started to make videos on other games, and you may or may not have seen them, as, like I said, these were barely even supported compared to my content from Battlestations Pacific and Battlestations Midway. In order for our channel to actually become successful and grow, you gotta spread out to more genres and games. And that was the huge downfall of the channel, and that was sort of a wake-up call for me. Because from what I posted a lot more games, especially some that are not in the World War II genre. And a lot of them didn't get as much as support, but at least like as much support as, let's say, Battlestations Pacific and Midway were, because barely people even received any feedback from it. I received no feedback from some videos. There's some videos on my channel right now who doesn't even have only 20 views or something like that, and there was no comments whatsoever. I received no feedback from those videos. It seems like I just wasted time on recording a game nobody watched. Like, for example, Resident Evil 7 and 2. Those are games that I personally loved and enjoyed playing, but nobody watched it. Nobody seemed to get feedback on it. I never received feedback of what people wanted. So this was sort of like a wake-up call, because I just realized that people are not enjoying the content because of myself. They only like things that I've done for a specific game. I felt like this was like basically, like I said, this was a basic wake up call for me, and I felt like if I continued to create only Battlestations Midway and Battlestations Pacific modding videos, I know my channel would not succeed to grow and be noticed around the YouTube community. Hi, Sasha. Yeah, this is Sasha, by the way, guys. If you guys noticed, she's a beauty. Hold on. Look at her. She's so cute. Look at her. Hi, goody go. Oh, she's so cute. But anyways, behind that, so like I said, I just want to continue for what I once wanted. I wanted to continue where I left off from when I first started the channel back in 2017. And it's now March 30th in 2020, and I want to spread. I want to continue going and move forward to those games or goals that I want to continue on going. and hopefully eventually succeed in those goals. So what's next, basically? As of right now, since BSMod, according to Access Crusher and BSModHQ, they consider BSModHQ version 1.0. I'm not sure if I should be even. I'll probably be in great trouble for saying the title. Since they classified that and Pacific Remastered Campaign mod as officially my own mod, and it's not their work anymore. Yet they took a big significant, like I can say a good 50%, actually more than that maybe, especially on BSModHQ version 1.0 was made from BSModHQ. They considered that as my content, even though it's kind of impossible how those two specific mods were not done by myself. And that was the only reason they were able to be out, because, well, they were able to be doing much more progress, and like that's how PRCP continued to be released, is because with their help, they were able to help me and get this done. And they actually Access Crusher took a big specific part of his time and actually fixed a lot of the bugs that I was able to do on certain that I wouldn't able to have time for. And so, since they don't classify them as their mods anymore, and I don't have no longer the manpower, or since I'm by myself, I no longer have the manpower to continue the mod and continue development. Because if I can't really make a lot of progress because of the because of the manpower. Because if the quality, and since then, if I continue to work on it, the quality of the content would decrease severely, as there would be a lot of branding removals and right ownerships and stuff like that, and a lot of game changes just to get back to square one, to where I get to a point to continue working on it. So I'm had to backtrack that BSModHQ version 1.0 and backtrack that in order to go back and restart all over, and I guess you could say. I wasn't, by that time I knew that was going to take years, since I'm by myself now. I wasn't going to I just said, well, if I can't do it, well, if they don't longer want to if they didn't seem to care about the mod at all, and since I'm basically left by myself to the mod, I can't really finish it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't really finish the mod with you guys. I really wanted to get it out by January, but with the complications that occurred and the lack of manpower I have, and the time and effort to just do that, it's just, and all the reasonings that I had before that, I just had to. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Unless BSModHQ wants to finish it off, I don't care if they don't credit me at all or anything like that. I don't care if they just remove me from anything that I've done. I just want that mod out somehow. But I can't do it by myself anymore, guys. I can't do it. It's too large of a mod for me to even finish. So, and plus, why should I release, if I even just leave it out there and release it as a mod, why would I leave a mod that's basically not ready to be made to the public? This would be worse. Like, this would be a lot, there would be a lot more, there would be a lot less quality than what let's say, than PRCP. I don't want to release a mod where it's not really finished. With PRCP, it was finished, but there was just a lot of bug fixes we weren't double checking, and I can say it. In one point, it just seemed like that we weren't double checking everything, and that's what led to some of the bugs that people are having. So there's literally no point for me to continue on when I don't have the manpower or the tools that I have to even do it. That's another thing. I don't longer have tools or files. Well, because since I don't have the rights to, since I'm no longer a BSModHQ member, I don't have the rights to continue to use their tools and files that they use to create mods. It would be simply unfair. I'm just basically leeching off of them, and I don't classify myself as a leecher. I don't want to do that. So it's just gonna make updates and more backups and bug fixes to be a lot more harder than it is. And because of this, and with my resigning of modding community and everything, with no manpower and everything, like same reasoning behind that, I am no longer guaranteeing a promise to update PRCP to version 4.1 of BSModHQ, or with any of the long knowledge mission pack release or Empire Strike mission pack, because it would be hard to try to iron out the bugs that originally are there in 4.0 and try to move up to that, because moving up to a different update of a build is actually a lot harder than what people think it is, especially if they made a lot more bug changes or anything like that, or movements or certain crucial gameplay fixes or anything like that, which caused the idea of losing that making it a lot more difficult to even produce. So I'm not guaranteeing an update for the Pacific Remastered Campaign Pack. So I'm sorry. If you guys were expecting all that, I'm truly sorry for all the promises I gave you guys. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm not a miracle worker. I'm saying it out there now. I'm not a miracle worker. I can't do everything. Like, I'm still in college too. I gotta go to college and get classes done. And that's why I can't be a regular YouTuber or anything. Oh. I can't be a YouTuber and work on college, or else I gotta focus on education. Because if I want, like, if working on YouTube fails, I need to have a failsafe in my career. In a career that I know I can be happy and enjoy. If YouTube is not working out, I gotta find a failsafe, you know? Or else my life is screwed. And I know Axis Crusher and the rest of the BSModHQ team has other things to do besides modding as well. So, it's not just me. It's not just Axis Crusher. It's not the rest of the team. We all have things to do then besides scripting one game. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get this out, just to say this. This doesn't mean I will stop producing any content for Battlestations Midway or Pacific. I will still post content for the game if there's anything out that's worth considering to continue on, as I basically covered everything in the game. And if I find it make a new idea that is not modding related, or start a series, or if there's new mods out there, or any update developments on something, then I will post content and continue looking content. But like now, I'm at a point where there's nothing really much to do. I'm sorry, but god damn it, this is becoming an apology video because I'm going back from all the ideas that I wanted from this one game, and oh my god. I will continue to post new uploads for the channel. This doesn't mean I'm not going to stop YouTube or anything like that. I am still continuing to work on videos, especially the new game that I've just been playing, Toontown Rewritten. I will continue to post some content. I'm also going to look on to other games to play, especially with Resident Evil 3 coming out. I'm excited to play that. But I just want to say this is personally here's a message to the rest of the BSModHQ team and Axis Crusher and everyone in general that I worked for the community. Good luck to the BSModHQ team. It's been a pleasurable 3 years of service since 2017. I've been working on projects for them, on one of the most important projects for the community, and it was a great time to work with them. I'm glad I was able to take down on this experience, but considering what's going on and what happened and everything, I'm kind of hurt. Like, I'm hurt. I'm I'm done. But I'm sorry. It has. This was kind of like the final straw, and it's time for me to move on. I'm sorry, but it's time. Anyways, guys, before I start breaking down even more, I gotta stop saying that. If I continue to break down, and before I start bawling my eyes out or something, because I love this game that I played since I was such a little kid, I'm just gonna end the video now. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm sorry.